Hello everybody, it's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter and welcome to my weekly episode. It is episode number 329 for October the 21st, 2025. 4 more sleeps to the fall retreat. And I think everybody has gotten signed in. I still have a couple of spots left. You have until tomorrow, Wednesday, October the 22nd, if you would like to still have a spot. And those of you that were sending me pictures for the slideshow that you've already registered, yeah, it's closed. Sorry. Yep, closed last night at midnight. So things are underway. Everybody's excited, I hope. Excuse me. I know I am. And more work for me to do, but that is okay because I want the day to be great, and it will be. It will be absolutely great. So let's take a look at what I've been working on. So finally, it is done. Now you've already seen it, but I'm going to show you this in a little bit more detail. And that is my Quilt of Valor quilt, which I did the top, finished the top several months ago. It's been sitting out in the Lucy room, waiting for me to be in the mood and Lucy to be in the mood to quilt it. Well, the mood hit me last week. I got it all quilted and it's ready to go. And in November, early November, we're going to a sew day for the Quilt of Valor group that's out in the Trenton area, which is a place about an hour or so east of me. And we're going for that sew day, and we'll be taking this and putting it in the donation pile. That sounds like it's cheap. It's not. The donation pile is an important thing for the Quilts of Valor. But anyways, here's a close-up. I know in this picture you can't really see the quilting all that well. Here is a close-up of what I did. And if you look at it carefully, you'll see it's swirls and maple leaves. This is kind of the standard quilting design I use on any Quilt of Valor because I think it's very appropriate. So Lucy cooperated very nicely that day, which I was happy with. And you'll notice I did it in a very light colored thread, and I do that because I don't want the quilting to take away from the patchwork that's in the quilt. The back of this is an ombre. It isn't quite the color that's in the front of the quilt, but that's okay. This is actually fabric from the new line from Northcott Quilting. Northcott fabric, not Northcott Quilting. I think it's called O Canada Series 13. I really love it, but it's a little bit more orangey than red, but that's okay. It's the back of the quilt. Nobody's going to notice. And I used the backing, the same fabric I used in the backing as the binding on this quilt too. And I think it looks fine. So that's what I've been working on there. Then I got the table runner set that I'm giving as a Christmas present to my hairdresser all done. And here it is all laid out. So yesterday I got the table runner quilted. I did a pattern that's very similar to the pattern that I used in the quilting of the placemats. And the same with the napkins. And the little black box that's there with the white things in it, those are napkin rings that I made. They have their own little box to keep them in to go along with the napkins. Now, I didn't have, because I 3D printed them, I didn't have anything that was a sage or even an aubergine color. So I just decided to go with black and white because black and white goes with everything. And of course, if my hairdresser wanted to use those napkin rings with other napkins she may have, well, they're fairly versatile and they're very contemporary in design. Hard to see it in this picture, but they are ribbed along the edges, so they do look quite elegant. They don't actually look like they're 3D printed, which is a bonus as well. So yeah, I'm very happy that I have that done. I have the bag done as well. For her gifts, and there's a couple of other things I want to throw in the bag too. So I will show you that when we get closer to the time of giving it away. And here's the back of the table runner. I use that the colors just shift. I don't know why, but they do, because this is not very true to the colors that are here. And this backing looks like a gray, but it's not. It's actually a darker greeny color with some sage in it. And it's what I used on the binding of this as well. And the quilting's not showing up in that. Again, I used a lighter color on all of this, but trust me, you can see it if you were looking at this in person. And here's some close-ups too of the napkins. And there you can see the napkin rings a little bit better. And also, which has nothing to do with what I just showed you, but has to do with making, my sister asked me to make her these. She found a design. Actually, a friend showed it to her, and my sister's a cross stitcher, and this is for cross stitching. It's for holding your floss for the current project you're working on, and whatever little tools that you use as well. She wanted the smaller ones. Well, she didn't know there was a larger one. Neither did I at the time until I went and downloaded this file for the printer. So I got carried away. I printed, instead of one, I printed 4. 2 of the mid-sized ones, 1 of the larger ones, and 1 of this one that doesn't have the little cube on the end of it for holding your tools and stuff. You know, I figure she is a fierce cross stitcher, has been for years. She probably has lots of floss on those little floss holders. So I thought, you know, extra ones here would help keep things neat and tidy for her. Or if she wants to give one to a friend or something like that, I'm fine with that too. Okay. So that brings me to announcements. Sewing with Stephen, as usual, on Wednesdays. Link is in the show notes. And retreat update. Okay, it's coming fast. It is coming this Saturday at the time of this recording, which would be October the 25th. On Wednesday of this week, tomorrow, October the 22nd, I will be sending out to everybody who is registered for the retreat a detailed email that has the agenda for the day, so you'll be able to plan your day around when the speakers are presenting and that kind of thing. You will also have all the links for the retreat and for the Friday night icebreaker cocktail party as well. So they'll all be in that email. And then there's a little section in the email for people who may not be as comfortable using Zoom with their devices. Some useful links onto YouTube showing you what to do. Now, those links are a little bit dated. I couldn't find anything that's really current. And, you know, Zoom always does updates, but the basics are there. So that should help you out. So, yeah, everything's coming out tomorrow, Wednesday. So watch your email for those of you who are registered for that important information. Most important thing of that information, of course, is the links. Okay, because you need the links. All right. And if you want to know, we have at the moment, counting presenters and everything, we have 83 people. So that's a good number, And as I said, if you're a last minute kind of planner, I will still take until tomorrow, Wednesday, your request for registration. Okay, so last week on So Chatty, we did the joy of quilting benefits. We got looking at the psychology of joy and how quilting puts us into that mode, into the joyful mode. And we've had several comments come through that people really appreciated that. And, you know, what we're trying to do with So Chatty is we're trying to go a little bit beyond like tutorials or demos. We'll still do things like that down the road as well, but we want to look at something a little different that possibly other people on YouTube don't necessarily look at when it comes to quilting. So that was what we did in the past week. What are we doing this week coming up? I don't know. We need your suggestions. Please, anything, suggest it. As I've said many times before, you may think the idea is really dumb, but it's not, because we may not directly work with that idea, but that idea will give us more ideas. You know, so you'll be helping us to figure out what it is that we're going to present each week on So Chatty. Okay, so that takes me to subscribers quilt of the week, and this comes from a longtime subscriber, Mary Lynn Henry. This week's quilt from a subscriber comes from Mary Lynn Henry, a regular here, and she sends us this beautiful creation, this picture of this beautiful creation, and she says, here's a photo of my Berrylicious quilt made with a jolly bar and pattern from Fat Quarter Shop. I completed most of the quilt during your Sewing with Stephen Wednesday Zooms. A jolly bar is 1/2 the size of a layer cake, 5 inches by 10 inches. I love the finished quilt. Well, I love it as well, Mary Lynn. I think this is beautiful, and I love how you kept the quilting fairly simple, but it makes the quilt pop. It actually makes the quilt look a little puffy, which I think is really cool. You've done a really good job of this, and I love the little motifs. When you look at it, you see the other blocks within the star itself. Like I see a windmill, I see a sort of a diamond on its edge, I see, yeah, I see what look like, what do they call them? Bow ties, or, there's another name for that type of thing. But it's a very interesting quilt. At first glance, you see the star, but then as you start studying it and looking at it more closely, there are little hidden treasures within the star itself. So very well done, Mary Lynn, and thank you so much for sharing your beautiful creation with us. And please feel free to send me a picture of your lovely creations, whether they're quilts, garments, bags, whatever you do. One picture and a little blurb, 50 words or less, and I'll be happy to feature it here on the Idiot Quilter. Okay, so YouTube of the week. Well, I thought this was appropriate because one of my presenters was recently interviewed on the YouTube channel called Not Your Granny's Quilt Show with Amanda. I was interviewed by Amanda about a year ago or so, and she interviewed Adam of AdamSews, Adam Burch. And as you know, Adam is one of my presenters at the retreat. So I thought that maybe this would be something I should reference here so that you can check out Adam if you're not familiar with Adam, and get to know him a little bit more before the retreat. So here's my review of that video clip. This week's YouTube video is one that I was really excited to see, and it's an interview with my good friend Adam from AdamSews. And as you know, Adam will be one of my presenters at my fall retreat this year on October the 25th. In the meantime, Amanda at Not Your Granny's Quilt Show did a very extensive interview with Adam, and I learned a lot of things I didn't know about Adam and his background. And he has a very interesting background, and he explains how he got into quilting and what he is actually doing as he develops his online store, and also explains his love of tulip pink fabrics, because that's something he's very famous for. So if you want to get to know more about Adam, then I suggest you go to Not Your Granny's Quilt Show and link up with this particular video called Meet Adam Burch of AdamSews. Okay, so that takes me to future projects. Lately, I've been concentrating on Giuce because I have a whole lot of his free patterns. And ironically, I talk about these as future projects. I have not done one yet. Well, I've been busy. As you can see behind me, I've been busy. And I'm behind on that one too, on Stormy Sea. And when I say behind, can you really be behind? I don't have a due date for that. I would like to get it done in this year, and I will. But, only due dates that I have are ones I put on myself. That's the beauty of being retired. So shouldn't get too uptight about that kind of thing. But anyways, someday I will do some of these Giuce patterns, but in the meanwhile, I'm going to share them with you. This week's future project is another pattern by Giuce. Yes, I know, I've been showing a lot of patterns by Giuce lately, but I do like these patterns, and the best part about them too, besides their design and their colorful look, is that they're free. So this one's called Prism Quilt by Giuce, as I said, and I really like this one because it has stars in it. I really like stars, and again, most of his patterns have a very modern look to them as well. Of course, he's showcasing his own fabrics, but this quilt would look great in any kind of fabrics. And you can see the fabric requirements here. Basically, it doesn't take a lot. There's a lot of background fabric, of course, because there's a lot of negative space on this quilt, so if you need 4 yards of background, but everything else looks like it can be handled by a fat quarter or a fat eighth, so that's good. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of oh no, there's 29 prints, so I guess there is quite a bit of fabric in this, but you could, alter it to suit whatever's in your stash, essentially. And it looks like the construction is fairly simple. Flying geese and strips and squares. So yeah, not much there to worry about. It is set on point, so you will have to do inset triangles, but those are not hard to do. And he lays everything out. He also shows his fabrics here, some very pretty fabrics. But as I said, I am sure you can find fabrics that will suit your purposes from your stash, or go out and buy something that you might like even better. So that's a free pattern from Andover Quilts called Prism by Giuce, and the link for the pattern, the PDF, is in the show notes. And we do have a submission for What's Twisting My Seams this week, and this submission comes from Carol Wolf. This week's submission to What's Twisting My Seams comes from Carol Wolf, and Carol says this about this piece of fabric. This is a 1-yard piece of soft, beautiful fabric that I bought at a local thrift store. Paul Klee was a very famous Swiss-German abstract artist. I doubt that I'll ever use this fabric in a quilt because I don't want to cut it up. Sometimes I just look at it and touch it. I like to imagine that someone purchased this during a trip to England and it somehow ended up in Pennsylvania. I wonder if any of your viewers have ever seen fabric like this. I couldn't find any images on the internet, so I have no idea how old it is. So it is a very interesting fabric. It does look like a painting, because you see brush strokes in it. And I don't blame you for not wanting to cut it up, because it is a very fascinating piece of fabric. I'm also not sure how I would use it in an actual quilt. I think it would make a lovely bag. But even still, since it's such a wonderful piece of art, I'm just wondering if you were to cut a piece of it and frame it and hang it on your wall in your sewing room, and then you'll see it every time you look, every time you're working in your sewing room. So yes, this is a little different twist on What's Twisting My Seams, because usually we were looking at fabric that we question why we bought it. But in the case of what Carol has shown us, she's showing us a beautiful piece of fabric that's so beautiful, she doesn't want to use it simply because she doesn't want to destroy its elegance. So thank you, Carol, for submitting that. So you've pretty much seen what I've been working on in the past week, but, well, I put together a little video clip to talk about it a little bit further. So what have I been working on in this past week? Well, everything, of course. You can see here I've got Stormy Sea in the background. I didn't do anything on Stormy Sea this week except cut some more pieces for it. So I got waylaid by this, the table runner that I'm making for my hairdresser, and I've already made placemats to go with this, and I've made napkins to go with this, and you've seen all of that already. This I have to get onto Lucy, and I've got to get it quilted. I've been debating on how I will go about that, or the design I will use. At first I thought maybe I'd put it on the embroidery machine, but I decided, no, I think it'd be better if I did it on Lucy. The tricky part is, do I have fabric that I can, for the backing, be wide enough? I have a long enough piece, but do I have a wide enough piece to, set it on the rollers properly? So I may have to do some finagling around that. Over here on the project table, it's still about the same as always. You can see I have one of those tote bags pulled apart, and this is tote bag number 11, so I want to get that out of my way as well, and then I have only one more to do after that. I've done some 3D printing, and you've already seen what I did for my sister with the floss things. And Bamboo has just come out with another new printer, a PS2. And rumor has it that they may be replacing the X1Cs, which is what this one is. With that, am I going to buy it? No, I love my X1 Carbon, and I really can't see justification for buying a PS2, which is actually a bit of a downgrade, although they're trying to tell you that it's more of an upgrade, but I don't think it is. I'm very happy with the X1 Carbons and the H2S, and yeah, these ones have been idle for quite a while. Oh, I did make this dragon as well. Just wanted to check out that rainbow filament that I bought. That's a Creality product. It's not a Bamboo product, and I quite like it. The colors in it. So I may buy some more of that in time. And yeah, that's about all I have been up to in the last little while. And so that brings me to the last segment in the episode, which is a review of an online quilt store. And this week, I am reviewing Drunkards Path Quilt Store. This week's online quilt store is truly an online quilt store because they do not have a brick and mortar shop. So they are located in Ontario. Where exactly, I am not sure in Ontario. But here is their front page. It's called Drunkards Path Quilt Shop. And their front page has some shots of the owners and some racks of fabric. It almost looks like they have a store, but maybe not. Maybe that's a spot inside their house, probably. They've got a little video talking about vintage quilting and mug rug tutorial. They have featured collections on here. It looks from the featured collections like they probably sell by quarter of a meter or quarter of a yard. We'll check that out in a minute. And yeah, and some other basic information as well. Do I see something here talking about shipping? Yes, we'll come back to that. Okay, let's go up to shop. Fabric, finish the bolt sale. They have it listed by, it looks like collections. They have pre-cut fabrics, notions, cross-stitch, books, knits, patterns, and thread. Okay, well, let's go back up to fabric and let's take a look. Okay, $4.74 seems to be the going price, or $4.49. So close to about $5 for, and I would say that that's a half meter. Let's take a look. Quarter of a yard. Okay, first point off, they're a Canadian store. They're selling in yards. We want it in meters, please. So $4.75 or $4.74 for a quarter yard. So, well, it's just under $20 a yard, which isn't bad. But you're only going to get 36 inches and not 39 inches if it was sold by the meter. Okay, little thing I know, but in Canada, that's what we deal with is meters. So, yeah. Then they show some other related things. They have a newsletter you can subscribe to. Let's just take a look at all collections. We'll get a better look here of what they have. And this isn't a bad little menu. It's all in alphabetical order as well. So if you know the name of a collection, you can find it here. And they have a fairly interesting collection as well. And let's just pick something random and just see how the prices work on that. Yeah, their prices are about the same for whatever line of fabric you buy. So as I said, just under about $19 and something a yard, which is reasonable given today's prices. All right, well, let's check out their pre-cuts, all pre-cuts. And what do they have? They have some mini fat quarter bundles. Okay, this is kind of pricey. Both of these, $26.98 for 6 fat quarters. That's what? Well, no, that's actually fairly reasonable. That's under $5 a fat quarter in the bundle, so that's okay. That's all right. And they have a number to choose from. Yeah, so not bad. Not bad. They seem to have more fat quarter bundles than anything else. All right. So far, not bad. Notions, the usual kind of things in Notions, okay. Cross stitch if you're into cross stitch. Books, take a look at the books. Do people buy books anymore? I don't know. Maybe. Not a lot to choose from. Yeah. So let's go to kits. What do we have in kits? A wall hanging, placemat, pillowcase, stockings, lots of pillowcases, some ornaments, cross stitch. Yeah, not really much of a selection here in kits. And patterns. They seem to like this particular, the Lori Holt patterns. Yeah. Well, again, not a lot to choose from in patterns. So really, they seem to be the place, if you want fabric, great. Anything else, not really much of a selection. Thread. What do we have in thread? It looks like they sell Aurifil. And actually, that's a good price right now for Aurifil. But they only have 3 colors. Yeah. So a light color, a black, and a natural or white. Okay. So not a lot there. So really, this is a small online store. Let's check out their shipping policy. And here are the rates. $200 and over is free. It looks like it was being sent by Canada Post, but they had a little note at the top of their screen saying may be delayed with the strike. Orders will use other shipping services available in the area, so I don't know if that's going to change their prices here, because their standard shipping price gets a little cheaper with the more you buy, and actually not unreasonable, but hard to say what their prices are going to be like. Yeah, well, given right now with the Canadian postal strike and the way that's working. But shipping seems to be very reasonable, and they have a very detailed explanation of what those costs will be. They have a contact section. We have a blog. So some different things here. An FAQ talking about shipping, rates, the online store. So there's some helpful information there as well. And about them, it's a family-run business. Yeah. Okay, well, Drunkard's Path is a cute little online store. Selection is, well, not a lot. Prices are within the ballpark. And shipping seems to be, reasonable as well. So for all of those reasons, I'm going to give Drunkard's Path a 6 out of 10. So that's Drunkard's Path Quilt Shop. You might want to check it out. So that's it for me today. And I hope if you've signed up for the retreat, you're looking forward to it. I certainly am. And don't forget about sewing with me tomorrow, Wednesday, as always. So there's lots here on my channel for you to do and be part of. And I appreciate you being a part of it, because without you, why would I be doing this? Really? No reason for that. Okay, enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.